While we continue our coverage of the Senzo Mewa murder trial, a close friend and state witness, Dumelo Madlala, telling the court earlier that Khumalo had instructed security officers not to allow police into the Melbarton home that she was renting with Mewa. Officers, however, eventually managed to gain access to that house.
I think Babon is our born kilo or something because since I took the case, because I say Lungs are blind.
Okay. When the police were now inside, and as they were, I think Kelly must have seen them, and because they wanted to peep through the blinds, and that's when she instructed that the electricity should be switched off. Okay, what happened in your case?
Yes.
Yes, you may continue.
Yeah. Then after we switch off case, angazi ukuthi wafonela bani okwenzakalani because ngathi waphuma iorder thizeni because bavele bahamba futhi nalabantu labo.
Awazi ukuthi ubani wafonela bani?
I think uyena ukheli wafona
ngazi ukuthi bekafonela. Okay. Ngifuna leyo ndawo. Because after the electricity was switched off, I don't know who did Kelly call, and then I think that a certain order then came out, and then they just left.
Madlala also told the court that musician and producer Chico Twala came to the Melbarton house. Twala's son, Longwe, is among the people who were in the Foslorus house when Mewa was shot.
But while things are going Melbarton, Chico Twala.
I'm just not sure about the day, my lord. But whilst I was still in Melbarton, Chico Twala arrived.
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. Because Kelly was crying in those days, and I was also not well, so she's the one who informed, that is now Kelly, informed Chico that this is Senzo's friend.
And can you just explain who's Mr. Chico Twala?
Umukhuluma ngoChico Twala ubani?
Ubaba waka Longwe.
Longwe's father.
Yes.
Yebo.
Okunye okuningi ngamuzwa ekhuluma noKelly embuza ukuthi akafunini ukuthi aye holding or something phesheya nanani.
I heard him speak to Kelly, inquiring from Kelly if she wasn't interested or didn't she want to go overseas for some holiday.
Advocate Romeo Nthambeleni joins us now to help unpack part of today's proceedings. Good evening, Advocate Nthambeleni. Thanks for your time tonight. Of course, what we have here is not a full version, but certainly a version of what may have possibly transpired on the night Senzo Mewa was killed.
Good evening to you, Kathy, and the viewers. Indeed, we are getting somewhere with the testimony of this witness, and he has implicated already two people. He mentioned the name of Khumalo, and he's also mentioned the name of Chico Twala. And I think I've not seen the list of the witnesses of the state, and I'm sure those people will be called to come and actually give a version of what actually transpired in relation to the evidence that is being given by the witness in the witness stand now.
But certainly it can't be a surprise that Khumalo's name has come up. She's one of the people who was in the house at the time that this happened. She was also Senzo Mewa's lover.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're quite correct. Each and every person that was in the house has to actually, come into that witness box to actually, testify on the events of that fateful day in order for the court to make a determination of actually what really transpired and to get to the bottom of what really happened to the deceased on the fateful day.
Do you think that it could be sitting somewhere in the back of this witness's mind that ultimately, beyond this particular trial, there is potentially another case where he, of course, would be one of the main suspects?
Yeah, I think the issue of that second record was clarified by the NPA, and they said they are going to actually deal with the issue of defeating the ends of justice. And I think maybe perhaps that is why what is actually making these witnesses to relax, because I think it's not going to be a charge of murder that will be faced in the second docket. So I think that's why you can see that the witnesses are testifying, I think, without fear, and they're able to express themselves. So I believe they are not worried about the second docket, because the second docket is clear that it's not going to deal with the charge of murder.
Let's talk about then some of the more substantive issues that relate to the case that you believe have come out of this witness's evidence so far.
Yeah, look, it's quite important that we don't look at the evidence of this witness in isolation of other witnesses that will be called who were present with him in the house. What is important now, he has mentioned the name of 2 people that were in the house, and then his evidence is obviously going to be tested during cross-examination. And then when he has been tested under cross-examination, then we'll see whether there is value in the evidence that he has actually given, and there is consistency in terms of the evidence that he has actually given, being corroborated by other witnesses that were present with him in the house. And the issue of the testimony of what is happening in the house in Malbatten, I don't think it relates to what actually happened in the crime scene, because what is important is what happened at the crime scene, and who then made that shot that actually killed the deceased. I think that is what is very much important.
All right, and of course, these are all of the issues that are likely then to come up when this witness is cross-examined. Advocate Nthambeleni, let's leave it there tonight. As you heard what Advocate Nthambeleni was saying, early days yet before one can make any final determinations of what actually happened on the night. We've just heard from the first witness who was in the house at the time of the murder. So, of course, we'll continue our coverage of that trial.